Look, mate, we need to talk.
Sure, dude. What's up?
Man, these episode suggestions you've come up with are just pages of utter shit.
What do you mean?
Well, look at this one. The one back here. Why are all cats black?
Haven't you ever wondered that? How many colours of dogs are there? Why are all cats black?
Mate, not all cats are black.
What?
Yes.
Really? Huh. Okay, fair enough then. Yeah, okay.
Look at this one. Look at this one. Why are doors? That's not even a question. That's why. What do you mean by that? This is just shit.
What's with the door? Why can't I just walk through? Why can't I come through a window? You know, like, what's going on with doors?
Why do chairs have 4 legs?
Great question. You know, why don't we have chairs with 3 legs? Or 1 even?
Man, these are just absolute shit. What have you been doing?
I've been coming up with questions. What have you been doing?
Look, that's not important. What's more important is your fucking shit ideas. And look at this one. Why is Burn so attractive to the opposite sex?
That was my wife's idea.
It's
I
in
thought
your
it was worth
handwriting.
investigating it.
And she's told me on several occasions how ugly she thinks you are.
Yeah, I think the attraction is more to do with the scent and pheromones that I produce.
Okay, well then you can explain this one to me. Why am I, and you've even put in brackets, Burn, attracted to my cousin?
Well, it might be to do with the pheromones. We haven't looked into it yet, you know. Where's your episode ideas, mate? I'm hearing a lot of critical thinking here, but I don't get much constructive criticism out of this.
Oh, fuck it. Let's just ask questions of the audience.
How hard this was to research and try and sound genuinely like I was doing work?
Hey, you Burn.
Hey, you Wade.
What's going on, man?
Not much. Keen to answer some questions.
Yes, it's that time of the season again where we ask you guys to ask us questions.
I love these episodes, you know.
It is good because it forces you to explain something simply in enough detail, but be nice and, kind of concise with it. So
Yeah, it's shit I haven't really thought about as well. You know,
Yeah,
it's
it's
that's a
kinda
fucking
good.
good question. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Some
a lot
terrible
of the
questions too.
there are always those questions in there. But
Craig Porter, why is Burn so short? My answer to that is, fuck you. I'm not that short.
Well, you are below average height.
This is bullshit.
Are you not below
I
the
am
average?
below average. We did
Okay,
just,
thank
but
you
I
very
think I'm
much.
4 millimeters below average.
That's still below average, mate. You didn't make the cutoff, mate.
Bullshit.
Right? Doesn't matter, if you're trying out for
I
a
want to
team
know
or
what the margin of
something.
error is on this average.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. You're still below the average. It's a government website as well. We came across that. Take it up with the Australian Bureau of Statistics, mate.
Mate, that was one of the best days of your life, wasn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
it was amazing. It was amazing. I think you're short just because you're less. You're just inferior, really.
It's just fucking genetics, mate. My mum was 5 foot nothing, so I'm pretty happy to be as tall as I am.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Still taller than you when I'm lying down.
Doesn't matter. More people see me standing up than they do me lying down. I'll let them use their imaginations. All right. So we're going to go through a bunch of questions. They're going to go from across a variety of different things. So let's get to it then. We haven't said that in a while for intro.
Let's get to it. We haven't. We've been dropping that out. Let's get to it.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to start a semi-serious one or a dirty one?
Let's start with the dirty one.
Start with the dirty one? All right. Blake Adam asks, is vaginal halitosis real?
Are you asking for someone, Blake? Because it doesn't... Is it
Yeah,
Blake?
no.
Blake can be a girl's name too.
Blake Adam.
Blake Adam, okay.
I don't think the surname has any kind of bearing on whether they're
No.
male or not. But yeah, you've got two first names there, mate. So.
Well,
all right.
Yeah.
So, firstly, just say halitosis is the scientific name for bad breath. So, halitosis is caused...
Wait, wasn't it made up, though? Wasn't it halitosis a term made up by... I think it was. I think you'll find Listerine made up halitosis.
Did they?
A company similar to Listerine.
I'm pretty sure they didn't make up bad breath because I've been around a few people and it's definitely a thing.
No, halitosis, yeah. So I think you'll find that it's actually a
made-up term? It hasn't gone into the scientific vernacular?
May have, or maybe, I don't think it's a scientific term. I think it was made up by... Yeah.
Okay, well, halitosis, even if it was made up by Listerine, it's for bad breath. That's what it means.
Okay, yeah.
So bad breath is caused by bacteria that usually producing sulfur compounds. That's the main reason for bad breath. So taking that one step further, I guess Blake is asking whether you can have a stinky vagina in a similar fashion you can have stinky breath.
Okay.
Okay. Now, look, I had to read a few studies here using the incognito feature in Google. But vaginal health, I found from a 2004 study, is massively dependent on the ecosystem of the microflora in the vagina. So that means basically the bacteria that live in there determines the health of the vagina.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. So this study looked at the diversity of the microflora in 5 healthy white females. So it's a very small sample size, but, it's probably not a great thing if you want to ask hundreds of people, can I swab your vagina? I don't know how many people are going to put their hand up for that study. Now, according to this study, there is significant diversity in the microflora between all 5 women. Now, it stresses that they're healthy, so I'm going to assume that means they weren't stinky. Okay? Now, they said that there was big diversity, so there's a lot of different bacteria growing in all of them, but they did find some species that were really common, specifically lactobacillus. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they reckon that lactobacillus is something to do with maintaining a healthy vagine. Another 2011 study suggested that, yes, lactobacilli are really important for keeping a neat and tidy down there. I don't even know. I feel so weird just trying to talk about vaginas right now, but we'll just keep rolling.
As a white male, it's your duty to let females know about their body.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. Yeah. Who else is doing it?
Who else is going to do it? If the white man doesn't do it, who else is going to do it?
Now, this study basically said that greater diversity and a lack of lactobacilli causes what's known as bacterial vaginosis. That is a scientific term. I got that from the paper. Now, bacterial vaginosis is excessive bacterial growth in the vagina, which I assume leads to it being halitosis. I don't know what would the
Okay,
would
so
be.
I'll start with about the definition. So halitosis, that's a terminology, yes. Okay, that's fine. However, it really kind of gained traction when in the 1920s, the Listerine company came out with, chronic halitosis. So they've kind of made it as if it was like a disease, like a really but when it was just like just an imperfection, an imbalance. People come out as, halitosis, people, you would feel bad. So that's how they went about it. So the actual, halitosis is derived from, so halitus meaning breath, okay? And osis meaning disease. So
Okay.
breath disease.
Breath disease, I see.
Halitosis.
Well, is vaginal halitosis real? Not really, but it could be, I guess, because there is some sort of relationship between bacterial colonies in the mouth as well as in the vagina.
Yeah, I guess the excrement and stuff like that. And yeah.
What are you eating?
No, what I'm saying is the excrement, that's what gives bad breath.
Excrement.
Yeah. Of microbes.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I'm like, that would definitely give you bad breath.
It's not probably the most appropriate thing to say when we're doing a thing on vagina, saying, what are you eating?
Yeah.
I'm like, is this where I'm meant to say vagina?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but like the excrement, like that's what causes bad breath. Like,
Yeah, okay.
Right conditions, excrement from, microbes.
Maybe some of my younger days I could say from anecdotally that vaginal halitosis may be real.
Oh. You went there.
I had a good time at uni.
Okay, so the next question.
Just bring it around for us.
Oh, God. All right, so the next question comes from Luke Tossello. Okay, and Luke Tossello asks, if we know that if one neutrino is spinning one way and its partner is spinning the other way, no matter where in the universe, can we manipulate it so it can become useful, given that computers operate on ones and zeros? So
Is that like quantum computing, or?
I think.
But he said neutrinos.
He said neutrinos. Now So currently, the technology in regards to entanglement and our understanding of it and its use in computers is probably much more relevant and easier to explain with electrons. Now, neutrinos they're very, very hard to detect. So, look, I think it's one of those things where I'll use electrons because it runs on the same principle. I don't know enough about neutrinos, but I can tell you about electrons. Now, one of the things this quantum entanglement, this spooky action at a distance, which Einstein came up with, it's pretty
Great
much
name, isn't it?
it pretty
Great
much
name.
means. So, if you look at the reality of it, it's actually still like it's not going to make instantaneous computers. All right, you're not going to be able to converse with people instantaneously. So, not going to happen. You'd violate special relativity. Reason being, okay, so the whole point of entanglement is if you get two, let's say, electrons, and they are paired. Now, when they pair, they will pair in opposites, so up or down.
Okay.
Now,
This is to do with their spin, right?
Yeah,
so electrons
spin.
are always moving, so they have like
spin
a
up, spin down.
spin.
They're not technically spinning. It's got to do with just like the moment, like the polarity, which we'll call
How they
polarity.
move.
How it doesn't matter.
One spins up, one spins down.
Say up, down. We'll call an up a 1 and a down a 0. Okay. The thing is with quantum computers is that you can have up, down, or you can have both. Okay. And what that means is they can be up and down, which is really strange.
Yeah.
Until you observe it, you collapse a wave function. You can observe if it's a 1 or a 0. Or up or down. Now, what you can do is if you have, say, let's say we've got an electron, okay? I have an electron and I know what its spin is. Let's say it's spin up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you and I then, we go and we pair two electrons together.
Here's mine, here's yours. Yep.
Here's mine, here's yours. Burn, this is what you are. Wade, this is what you get. So we know that whatever we've got, they're going to be opposite. One will be up, one will be down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, let's say then, so you take your electron with you, I take my electron with me. Okay? I then have an electron there, and I want to get that original electron, the one that I had, which was up.
Yep.
Okay? I want to let you know what it is.
Okay. This is the one we were sharing. The paired one.
This is my electron, right? We've paired two electrons, but I'm going to say to you, look, I'm going to go back and I'm going to see what this what my original electron is, whether it's up or down. Now we know it's up. Okay. Yep. So I get my paired electron and I put it next to the other one, and through complicated reasons, I can then determine whether they're the same, if they're both up or they're both down. Now, here's the thing. So I can determine what that original electron is, and then that will then have an influence on my electron, which I'll then be able to put across to you. Are you following me with this?
I am.
Okay. So remember, whatever my electron does, yours is going to do the opposite.
Yep.
Now, I've got this other electron, which I already have, and it's not included in the pair.
Yep.
Okay. So then all of a sudden, I can analyze that electron. I go, oh, okay, it's up. All right, great. So I then can get you, all right, to have your electron, and I go, oh, okay. So when I influence that, when I pair them up, whatever my electron does, let's say it goes up. Okay, so I've got two electrons. One's up, the original one, which we're trying to find out, and that one, and I find out through whatever reason it goes up. Then yours will go down. Okay, so what I do now is I have to let you know what the original electron is, the very first electron. So let's make it simple. Let's say I pair them together. One goes down, one goes up. So the original one's up, therefore mine goes down. There's yours up.
Yep.
Okay,
mine must be up.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So now what's happening is that you've all of a sudden you've got an electron which is up. Okay.
I thought my electron was down.
Sorry, electron which is down. Sorry.
Oh no, wait, mine was up. Yeah,
yours was up.
Mine was up. Yeah, just
Okay.
making sure.
Okay. So this is really hard to explain without a drawing. Okay. So remember, going back beginning. One electron separate. Okay, we don't know. We've paired an electron. So whatever happens to my little
You
paired
should see the
electron...
gesticulating Wade's doing right now. It's amazing.
Yeah.
His hands are all over the place.
Yeah.
It's like an Italian nonna.
So whatever your electron does, it'll go boom. It'll be the opposite of what mine does. Okay? So if my electron goes down, okay, and then yours goes up, then I can say to you, same. Opposite.
Okay.
Whatever. Now, I can only communicate that through current...
Internet, phone call, whatever.
Phone call, email, whatever, which can only travel at the speed of light. So you might say, well, okay, why then are we investing so much money in quantum computers? Because, well, the reason is that is just random information. I'm giving you opposite, same.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what that's the opposite to or the same as from the original electron, which I was analyzing. Okay?
Yep.
So one of our pair electrons, so you take yours, I take mine, all of a sudden I go, oh, okay, so that electron's behaved like that, so therefore this original electron must be up.
Okay.
So then I'll go to you, your electron goes like that, and it goes, say, points, so that would be up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So your electron will go up, and you go, oh, Okay, so is that the same or opposite as the original electron?
Okay.
Okay, and I go, same.
Yep.
Okay, then we do another one. Opposite.
I
Same.
see.
Opposite.
So you've got an electron that's a mystery we don't know.
We don't
We
know.
take a paired electron that we do
Exactly.
know, split them up, stick it to the first one, and we'll
Yep.
know whether the first one's up or down, and then you'll know if it's the same or the opposite to the one that I've got.
That's exactly right.
Okay. And then that information, I know straight away, even though I've got the information.
You've got the information. You've got
before
okay, it's
you've
up,
contacted
but
me.
The meaningfulness of that information is irrelevant. It's
Yeah.
like, well, would I know what is it? Is it up or
that's
down?
right,
So then I
okay.
call you and say opposite.
Okay.
So that information has to travel at the speed of light.
Yeah.
Okay, so me saying opposite, same,
It's the
same.
speed of light, but I've found out about it because
Exactly,
it's collapsed the
but
wave
it's
function
meaningless.
before.
Though it's just meaningless information. You don't know what it is. Like, okay, is it the same or opposite? What is it?
So how does it work for computers then? If it is just same or opposite, which is 1 or 0
Yep.
or on or off or anything, how is that possible to use for computers?
Well, that's the thing. It's really not. It's the thing is we can make more calculations, more problem-solving calculations with quantum computers, which they're not going to make your PlayStation faster. Okay, you're not going to have a quantum PlayStation. They're more for solving algorithms and problems because there are more ways to figure it out. They provide better understanding. Now, so that's kind of so what they do is they are able to, because you got up, down, and then you got both. It gives
Yeah.
you more options, ones and zeros. You go away from that binary system, you get up, down, and another selection. Now that all of a sudden creates algorithms, so much more. If you look at like on a quantum level, and then you go out to a macroscopic level, that's huge.
Yeah.
Like you have one element, which can have so many electrons of different paired spins and stuff like that, and you can communicate so much more information. You're not looking at like a transistor where it's a whole bunch of atoms. You're looking at the singular atom.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so originally, now they make transistors which are, tens of atoms thick. Well, now we're looking at actually making it about the atom and the electrons surrounding
In
it.
that atom, one atom, that is pretty amazing. Isn't
So
it?
that's one of the benefits. Now, that's a very, very simplistic general explanation, I know, and I hope you'll have to listen back to get a full understanding of how this system
Where
works.
did you find out about this one? Send them off.
Sure. It's so Professor Morello at Sydney University. He's a good example of he
Someone who knows
explains
his
it
shit.
really well. He's been on a number of shows as well. He's also been on Veritasium. He's also been on our show. But I'd like to get Morello on one time, Professor
all right.
Morello, because he sounds like a
We
pretty
might
crazy guy.
hurt Chris Ferry's feelings though.
Oh yeah, good old Chris Ferry.
He talked about that, though, didn't he? The spin. And
Yeah, he
everything?
did. Yeah, he spoke about spin and pairing stuff and that. But it's so. Here's the thing, and this is why they're really, really, really interested from a military perspective, a security perspective, of quantum entanglement, right, and quantum computing, because you have to remember I was saying you go opposite, same, okay, same to what the original information is with that electron. You don't know. Okay, so if someone's tuning in, so if I go opposite, same, and they get someone hacking the line because I'm calling you saying opposite, same, or whatever,
Yep.
someone can listen in, but they don't know what it's opposite to or the same as.
Yeah. Okay.
So all of a sudden you get these kind of little ones and zeros going along, but they don't make sense because it's opposite to the electron being up or down or what?
Yeah.
What
okay.
is it?
The one
So
could be a
if
0. I
someone-
see why it's a 0
if-
and a 1 because
yeah.
you don't know what the original one is,
Exactly.
or if it's originally a 0 or a 1. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so if someone's listening in, they don't know what it's opposite or the same to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense. I get it now. That's why they say that it's both 1 and a 0.
Yeah, well, until you
it's
observe it,
opposite of the same.
you'll go, and then it'll go across to the other end. And
Oh, that's well done. I just did a light bulb moment then. Actually,
Oh,
thanks,
cool.
mate. Yeah.
No worries. Yeah. So you have one electron, right? And it's up. We pair it with something, and then all of a sudden your electron will behave in a certain way, and we can say, yeah, look, it's opposite as what you've got there.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And then all of a sudden, someone listening in goes, well, opposite to what?
Yeah,
There
because you
could
know
be
what your
so
electron
many
is. You've
options,
seen
yeah.
it say up. You know it's opposite, so the other one is
Exactly.
down.
Now, that is the most basic, fundamental system, okay? That's like a smoke signal kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's obviously systems become more complicated as they build on different aspects of that. But that's the fundamentals of what is actually happening on that quantum computer system. Now, the good thing is that where, you send a signal through electromagnetic radiation, which travels at the speed of light, which is still incredibly fast, but it can be listened into or distorted, okay? However, with this technology, if they eavesdrop into it, it's meaningless. They don't know what it means.
Yeah.
It's because I haven't paired it with that specific electron.
Yeah, okay. Take
Okay.
that, you spies.
Yeah, take that, spice, and that's why
I'm
the
watching you,
military,
Russia.
that's why the military and all from militaries in different countries from all over the world are so keen to understand quantum computing because it can change the way in which we, one, process information, the speed at which we process it, but two, communicate information as well.
Until we get another version of Turing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
The modern Turing. He'll crack it.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the Enigma codes, and they said they couldn't crack that. But
Yeah,
they did.
take that.
Yeah.
We'll get there. We're smart enough. Maybe we are getting dumber, though. Maybe we won't get there. Never mind.
Maybe a small percentage of us will get there.
That's right.
I somehow don't think we'll be in that small percentage.
We'll have to pass through that bottleneck first.
Okay, next question.
All right, well, while we're talking about bottlenecks, let's go with Timony Beeler. Is it alarmist to say if we do nothing to combat climate change, then 80% of the world's population will die? If it is alarmist, what would be a more reasonable estimate? So I looked into this, and I would say it's probably alarmist. 80% of the world's population, say we have about 7 billion now, 80% is like 4 to 5 billion people, or a bit more than 5 billion people are going to die. I think that's unrealistic. That's a huge number of people. Now, unfortunately, we've talked about this a lot. A lot of the people who are going to feel the effects most in climate change are in developing nations.
Yeah.
They don't have the capacity to cope with the change. They're usually in areas where any kind of significant shift in the environment will hurt them more because they don't have infrastructure there to prevent it or reduce it or anything like that. But to say 80% of the world's population dies, that seems pretty far. That sounded far to me at first.
Yeah.
Now, I've had a look. There is some UN estimates, and there's also other estimates from other scientific bodies related to this, and they estimate that about 250,000 to 500,000 people per year die due to climate change. Now, I caution against saying due to climate change because you don't really die because of climate change. People die because of the supposed effects.
Yeah, the circumstances due to this. And it might be they're more exposed to, say, this type of disease by moving into a more densely populated area because of limited resources.
Exactly. Mosquitoes become more prevalent.
Exactly, and the spread of disease. That's a good point. And as well, even with like air pollution, poor air pollution, like that, I think I've said it a couple of times on the show now. According to the World Health Organization, that kills more people than AIDS, hepatitis, and car crashes.
It's just air pollution. Well, that's it.
But once again,
that's not climate change. That's the sort of cause of climate change.
It's the cause of climate change, but
it's all sort of swaddled in there.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at another thing is increasing intensity of storms. Obviously, a storm that's more intense is going to cause more damage, probably lead to more deaths. We could argue that that's not necessarily a result of climate change, but climate change has indeed predicted that more intense storms will become more frequent.
Well, you think about it, it's like from a very, very black and white angle, it's, you're putting more energy into the Earth's atmosphere, you're going to get greater storms because there's more heat, more energy, and then leads to more storms.
We'll chuck on heat waves as well. That's going to impact, and then
water availability, migration patterns, all that type of stuff.
Food production will be impacted, leading to more malnutrition, more starvation. So all of those effects. Do you say that those are people dying because of climate change, or are those people dying because of a storm, or because of heat stroke, or because of malnutrition? It's very difficult to get a real value there.
Well, we get more people dying in heat waves. Because that's the thing, it's really hard to attribute one specific heat wave to climate change. Yeah. Because it's looking at the consistency of them. So even in the lead up to, say, like, we remember the Black Saturday bushfires we had here? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. So in the lead up to the Black Saturday bushfires, there was about a 3 or 4 day heat wave. More people died in that heat wave. More vulnerable people died in that heat wave than they actually did at the Black Saturday bushfires. However, it's just less...
it's more violent sort of death.
More violent kind of death, more terrifying kind of death, as opposed to the heat wave, which led to, that fire being fueled and being so devastating.
Fire doesn't discriminate. Fire kills everyone. Whereas, a heat wave, that just kills the old people.
Yeah, they're really young and the sick, yeah. And so, like, it's such a complicated question. And, I really feel as if the scientists are doing the right thing. They're kind of saying, well, we don't know. Yeah. But then people are taking that we don't know as it's not going to happen.
Well, even those estimates, that's a huge range. That's 250,000 up to 500,000 per year. That's that's double the original. That's a huge range that they're going to try to attribute to climate change, which they really probably shouldn't, because people will take that and go, look, they know nothing.
Yeah, look at that error margin. Yeah. But at the same time, though, they need to convey a message that this is going to be bad. And it's such a complex system with so many variables in it. It's really hard to get like a decent answer for that.
It is. So I'm sorry about that, Timothy. It is kind of hard
It's
to
a great
get
question. It's a very
solid answer.
Yeah,
but
and the more research, the better we're going to have a gauge of exactly the enormity of the issue. But it's also as well what you're actually classing as the effects of climate change.
Yeah, if that's caused the death or anything. So 80% probably is quite alarmist based on the estimates, but there's so much mud in the water, I suppose you say, to be able to get that estimate that, I wouldn't say it's definitely not going to happen, especially if we do absolutely nothing about it.
I guess I was speaking to a paleontological climate scientist, and I said to him, what is the best scenario and the worst scenario? And this was just the unibar. And he said to me, he goes, best outcome, we scrape through by the skin of our teeth. The worst outcome, we're fucked. It's like, okay, gotcha. So it's like, it's most likely going to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's catastrophic, that's to be determined, and it also determines where you live. You may not really feel much change. You might be lucky and have more agricultural produce, but as a whole, I think we're going to find that across everything, there's going to be more suffering.
I really liked Angela Maharaj's response when we had her on, the climate scientist, and we asked her what's going to be the effect on the human population from all the climate change. You remember what she said?
How the fuck should I know? Yeah. But it's true. It's true. It's a question people want answers for because they're like, oh, but I really don't want to pay more for electricity. But, is it going to be bad? And like, we don't know. It's like, well, I'll take that as a no then. We don't know yet. So
we don't know.
We'll jump the hurdle.
No as in N-O.
Yeah. Okay.
Great question. All right. Another question, I think.
Yep.
We got one on superfood. Do you want to have a go at this one from Kirsty Nightingale?
Sure. Kirsty Nightingale writes, let me just bring this up.
Oh, mate, good prep. Jesus.
Mate, shut up. I didn't know you were going to ask me the question. Okay. So,
Yes, you did.
Kirsty Nightingale, who is actually my cousin, by the way.
Hey, Wade's cousin.
Yeah, hey, Wade's cousin. Is it true about honey being some sort of superfood? Is it true eating honey pollinated locally can reduce susceptibility to hay fever and allergies? I looked into just the superfood question in general because that is such a complicated question. You could do a whole episode on it, really. So often, I think the first misconception is that what is a superfood? Okay,
Yeah.
and a superfood really is just a marketing term. So I had a look on a couple of reliable websites, Science-Based Medicine, which we go on a fair bit about. If you want to get good kind of information there, good starting point, definitely Science-Based Medicine.
It's all referenced there as well, which is great.
Yeah, it's all referenced and
Find
it's
the
all
original
professionals
sources.
writing and, professional skeptics as well, like Stephen Novella and, Cara Santa Maria, who've had on the show a couple of times. She's obviously a big part of that skeptic side of the universe. And as well, the conversation. If you want to get good resources and good information, go to the conversation website because it's actual academics researching in the field, writing about. And
they've got links to the papers and things. They've got
to
sources where they got it
they've
from.
got
Yeah,
everything. So if you're kind of concerned about, what's this or is this healthy for me or whatever, what does the science say? And the best part about these sites is they are more than happy to say we don't know. There's inconclusive evidence. So anyway, about superfoods. Firstly, okay, this comes from pharmacist Scott Guevara, and I'll quote him what he's written here. Superfoods are pure marketing speak, meaningless nutrition woo like detox, cleanse, immune boost, and pretty much every other word you'll see in advertising from a naturopath nutritionist. Okay, really, superfoods are just really a waste of time. It's a marketing point. That superfood is not a scientific term. One of the big concerns, okay, it's more of I guess you'd say, I'll go back to the original point. Superfoods, it's more of like, certain things are once, they're now in the category of a superfood. It's like, well, pomegranates and acai berries were once superfoods. Acai berries, whatever. But those things are kind of
quinoa.
Once, quinoa. It's not quinoa. It's fucking spelled quinoa. And so these type of berries and stuff, like sometimes they're superfoods, sometimes they're not. They're like pomegranates aren't considered superfood anymore. Don't know why.
Delicious. I love a good
pomegranates are
pomegranate.
beautiful. So it's more. it's more designed as a marketing ploy. It's to kind of encourage you, hey, it's a superfood. Come and buy this. It's like, putting something in a blender. Is it going to change the nutritional value of it? It's like, this unlocks a superfood, and like fucking David Wolfie was going on about that.
Yeah, that's right.
The NutriBullet.
It's just a version of chewing.
It's just a version, it's just now you don't have to chew. Yeah. Because they use terms like this all the time. So claims are usually based on anecdotal information or information extrapolated far beyond what the scientific evidence says. Also as well, Emma Beckett and Zoe Yates. So Emma Beckett is a doctoral scholar, human molecular nutrition lab, and casual academic at University of Newcastle, which is I believe the Australian university as well. And Zoe Yates is a lecturer in biomedical science at the University of Newcastle. So they had a look at the studies of what actually is superfood. Even when these studies are done in humans, they're often tested in very high concentrations over short durations and are not reflective of a regular balanced diet. There simply aren't enough long-term realistic studies to support the claim that superfoods can starve off illness or old age.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so a lot of the claims are saying, it's like, well, you've just come up with this term and now we have to fucking research it.
Yeah, that's
because,
right.
It's now being so successly marketed.
I've been feeling kind of sick eating all the McDonald's, so if I load up on blueberries and feel better, then oh my gosh, it's a superfood.
Well, here's the thing. So it's easy to see why the concept's like so popular, because it can protect you from all kinds of, harm, and like it's very seductive, isn't it? It's like, protect you this, but the idea may be like doing more harm than good. And it's obviously, as I said, it's a misleading marketing tool which can encourage really bad habits. It's like, well, I just did a whole bunch of heroin. I'm going to go have some goji berries.
Oh, that's better. It's cleaned me right up.
But here's the thing. This is the problem with marketing certain issues. And, just loosely labeling things as superfoods because people think, oh, this is really good for me. This is a superfood. Gee, I had a big weekend. I'm going to go have some of this because that'll help detox me. And it's like, well, no, you shouldn't have fucking done that in the first place.
That's right.
Like, if you want to be healthy and you're you're researching superfoods.
I'm sorry, Shannon. It doesn't matter how much kale you eat. You're not going to be able to fix those 20 mimosas.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly right. So it's dangerous labeling things like that with superfoods. Now, it's obviously marketed as superfood, and a lot of people think superfoods are real things. They are not. They are literally a marketing ploy. So to really get back to your question about honey and things like that, well, to begin with, there's just no such thing as a superfood.
I like honey because it doesn't go off. It's pretty amazing how long it lasts.
It is. It's very good. But and can it reduce susceptibility to hay fevers and allergies? Don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah,
either.
if this evidence of because it's a superfood, if you're looking at it because it's a superfood, no.
I get hay fever, and a lot of
I get hay fever too, man.
Yeah, I hate it. It sucks, doesn't it? But I get a lot of our honey is locally grown, and one of my friends is right into beekeeping.
Oh, here we
he
go.
gave us a big supply
We're gonna
of
have
honeys.
some sort of alarm when we start bringing up anecdote. Anecdote.
Yeah, didn't change for me. I think someone else came online and said he didn't change for him either. So.
Yeah. So, to answer your question, Kirsty, and hello, give my love to Nana, is superfoods aren't a real thing. So if you go basing your diet on superfoods to try and cure any ailments, you will be probably not going to work for you.
Yeah, probably not. All right, why don't we wrap up with a philosophical question? Nice short one, sharp one. Okay, so this one comes from Shan Lahijanian. I think I got that right. If I didn't, sounds cool.
What
you
is
should go with that. Shan Lahijanian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so if that's not your name, go with that because it sounds rad.
It does.
All right. Question was, why do we attempt to justify our existence? And if we accept our existence is pointless, what drives us to live and reproduce?
Wow, that's a fucking rad question.
Yeah.
And we can just make up shit as we go along.
Yeah, that's why I liked them. I don't have to
philosophy.
research this one.
We can just spurt out random shit.
So what drives us to attempt to justify our existence?
I guess, we like to see the results of things. We like to see things leading to other things. We like sequence. Like a sequence of events. We do this, that happens. And I think that makes the world easy for us to understand. We like to know why things happen because it obviously is amazing to kind of sit back and go, what the fuck is all of this? And I think that's one of the reasons why we love doing what we do on the podcast.
Yeah.
Is we're able to sit back and go, what the fuck is all of this stuff? Like, this is incredible. How can this system even work? Why do I feel love for this? Why do I hate this? Why does that gross me out? Why does this even exist? Why do people think that way? And I don't know exactly why. I don't really ever feel like I justify to myself my existence.
Yeah, but like, why do you want to live? I suppose is the crux of the question here.
I guess because
we is probably like the
have
royal we. We as a human.
Well, we have a basic desire to pass on our genetic information. So
yeah.
And
I
even
think it's
with
something to do
selecting
with
partners, like obviously our wives didn't do a very good job, but we've done a very good job. And you try and find someone who appears healthy, someone who appears, you know, that is they're going to be the best
baby
chance
making
for you.
hips.
Yeah, some good baby bearing hips, and
especially to get that forehead out, Jesus.
Yeah, I know. Watch out, world. You know, a nice man, you can see your reflection in their forehead. But I think as well, it's just that common kind of basic instinct we have to ensure that our genetic information is passed on.
Yeah, I think it's too. I think, why do we attempt to justify our existence? And if we accept our existence is pointless, what drives us to live? I think it's all based on evolution. There was probably some creatures or animals back there that didn't feel the need to justify their existence and accepted that it was pointless and didn't need to reproduce, and they died out.
We don't speak to them anymore.
Yeah, that's right. They don't have that. So I think really the way our brains have evolved is what drives us to seek that existence, because seeking that existence ensures that we pass our genes on. And
we love
that's
causality.
What DNA.
We love causality as humans.
That's what we're trying to do as all creatures, really, as all life, is we're trying to pass our genes on. Asking a biologist, that's the point of life, is to pass on your genes.
And protection, to ensure that we can pass our genes on.
Oh, yeah, to make sure they keep going. So why do we justify our existence? Because justifying our existence means that we can pass our genes on. We have the best genes to be passed on.
Well, it's the same. It's the same kind of thing, isn't it? It's like, well, if you're feeling pain in your arm or something like that, why don't you just kill yourself and the pain stops? You'll never know you're gone. Well, it's because you're involved in a family. You've got people around you who make you feel safe, and you know, there's altruism, basic altruism.
You don't want people to ensure the survival of your DNA. At its heart, if you look at, like, say, Richard Dawkins' selfish gene, at its heart, we are just carriers of DNA, and that DNA is what dictates most of our behaviours. So that DNA, it's favourable for that DNA to dictate a behaviour that ensures its survival and passing on.
Absolutely.
So our DNA says, don't die.
Please don't.
Don't die, and shoot a load up in something that you can take care of in the future. And
it does make it all the more extraordinary about, like, you know, depression and suicide, like how crippling that must be for some people to go through depression. And I really don't understand it. I'm lucky enough to never have suffered from depression, but you know, there are people who seemingly have really good circumstances and not really bad situations, but their emotions and how they feel and their perspective is obviously very clouded. It must be an incredible.
It'd be so tough, wouldn't it? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I you know. But
brave thing. Go and get help if you do suffer from depression, because there
do.
is something going on with you. It's not your fault at all.
Yeah, and that's the
There
problem.
are people that will help you.
I think the best thing about it is now people are actually saying, yeah, this is a normal thing.
The stigma's slowly going away. It's
and
good.
I think the sooner we get rid of that fucking ridiculous stigma of people with depression being weak, I think the better off it's going to be for millions of people out there who suffer from depression or go through tough times.
Oh, and their families and friends and everything as well.
Everyone.
Absolutely, yeah.
It affects everyone.
I think we'll wrap it up there. So thanks very much for all those people who sent in questions. If we didn't get to your questions, sorry about that, but you can write to us through Facebook or our websites or various places if you'd like to know more about things, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. If you've got an idea for an episode suggestion, feel free to write in as well.
We appreciate all the episode suggestions we get in, and we appreciate when we put things like that out. There's so many people that come back, and even the people that get online and answer the people's questions that they have. They go, you can find it here.
Yeah, we did have a couple of questions come through that were already answered, so thank you very much to those people for saving us the hassle.
Thanks, guys. If you want to become a patron on the show, you can easily become one by going to patreon.com/Sci-gasm podcast for like less than like $1 an episode or something around that. You can become a patron. It just helps us. We're now getting a somewhat healthy list of patrons to the show, which is just wonderful. And
we love you all. It's so generous. It's actually overwhelming to us quite often how nice people are.
I do find it amazing when people try and hold it above your head when you express like a view that doesn't agree with them. Like, I'm withdrawing my dollar, and you're like, fucking go for it, mate.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to hold that above our head and think that we're not going to actually promote science or, you know, have humor or make fun of a group of people like we always do, we make fun of everyone, especially ourselves. And you think you're going to hold a fucking dollar or episode over our head for us not to come up with material, you are sorely mistaken.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, you cannot buy us. Speaking of which, if you want to advertise on the show, thanks very much, guys.